What's up Top 10 fam, hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Ayman Hassan and welcome back to another video. Now as an aspiring actress, I think this video is something I really need in my life and I think you guys do too. There's honestly a reason why actors are paid so highly and that's because the work is so hard, it's emotionally draining and you can't fake it. It's so easy to tell when an actor is faking an emotion or a moment because we as an audience just stop relating straight away. So imagine trying to muster up all that raw, honest emotion while there's like the ghosts of Samara or Bloody Mary just haunting your set. Nah, B? I'll just see myself out. And with that being said, these are the top 10 mysterious haunted movie sets you won't believe. Starting us off at number 10 is the Amityville Horror. Starting off with a bang as usual. Now this is a horrific story that was 100% true and it inspired many movies, books, and documentaries. But we're going to be looking at the 1979 and 2005 movies. Now both movies follow the Lutz family, which moved into the Amityville house where a mass murder occurred the year before. Ronald DeFeo Jr., the oldest in the family, killed his parents and 4 siblings in that house at around 3:15 a.m. The parents were shot twice, whereas the siblings only once, and he claimed that he was hearing voices in the house and in his head telling him he had to kill them. The Lutz family claimed the house was haunted when they bought it and moved in, and Ed and Lorraine Warren went there to investigate. Now James Brolin, the actor who played George Lutz in the 1979 version, said he was hesitant about accepting the role, but as he was reading in a really intense part in the script, his pants fell off a hanger right in front of him, which he took as a sign. Then the Warrens actually visited the set during filming and took a bunch of pictures of it and found a boy with glowing white eyes in one of them. They believe the ghost was John Matthew DeFeo, one of the younger children in the family. Matters became even worse when the haunting followed the Warrens home after their visit. Ed claimed he was in his office one night and he heard a latch snap open and heavy footsteps coming towards him before disappearing completely. Mind you, he was home alone. Now in the 2005 remake where Ryan Reynolds plays George, he said that himself and most of the crew would wake up at 3:15 a.m. every single day of filming, the exact time Ronald killed his family, and weirdly enough that happens to Ryan's character in the film too because it happened in real life. A cherry on top of all of this was that right before filming started, a dead body washed up on shore right by the film set. Like, hello? This was screwed right from the beginning. Coming in at number 9 is The Exorcist. Now this movie really needs no explanation, but released in 1973, it's hailed to be one of the best horror movies of all time, as well as the one that actually started the whole Exorcist movie phenomena. Based on the 1971 book of the same name, the plot basically follows 12-year-old Reagan McNeil, who's been possessed by a demon, and her mother's multiple attempts to save her through an exorcism. Now one of the creepiest occurrences that happened on set was the fact that the entire set of the McNeil's house just caught on fire somehow and the whole house was destroyed except Reagan's room. In terms of deaths, 9 people died from the cast and crew both during and post-production, which is 9 more than necessary. Now before the film's release, Burke Dennings and Father Damien Karras' mother both died, and a crew member and technician both died during production, but no one's released how they died and what happened, which is just very sus. Lastly, the actress playing Reagan had a mental breakdown during filming and actually attacked her on-screen mother. Now the take used in the scene where Reagan throws her mum across the bedroom is the one where the actress was actually having a breakdown. The actress somehow gained incredible strength when attacking the woman playing her mum, and despite her having a harness on, it ended up breaking and she sustained a permanent spinal injury. So that scream we hear in the movie was very much real and convincing, and everyone was just in awe of how this child actor had enough strength to even do that. Is she possessed in real life? Like, what is going on? At number 8 we have Annabelle. I frankly was just not scared when watching Annabelle, like it was an okay movie. I just went because it's Annabelle and you have to watch Annabelle. So if you haven't seen or heard about it, the movie is basically about a demon terrorizing this family through the doll of Annabelle. And the story was based on the case investigated by Ed and Lorraine Warren, so there is definitely some truth to it. Now on set, cast members reported weird things happening. Chairs would move out of nowhere, plates flew off their racks, but that's just all regular haunted like we see that all the time. But in the apartment they were shooting in, there were 3 fingerprints drawn on the dust of the window and it was backlit by the moon, so it was just very weird and no one knew how it got there. And keep in mind the demon in the movie has 3 fingers and 3 talons, so I mean, what the F. But it doesn't end there. Peter Safran, the producer, shared that on the first day the demon was shooting in full makeup, he walked out of the elevator to the green room, and as he did he passed under a glass light fixture and it fell on the actor behind him. Now, The actor behind him played the handyman in the movie, and in the script the demon kills that janitor in that same hallway. So there's just a lot of parallels between things that happen on set and things that happen in the movie, so it's like, Annabelle, please don't haunt me, just leave me alone. Filling on number 7 slot is the Poltergeist franchise, and if you haven't seen it, then what are you even doing? Directed by Steven Spielberg, the horror movie came out in 1982, and the plot basically follows a family being haunted and disturbed by not one poltergeist, but multiple. Now on set, obviously the whole aura of it was already creepy and paranormal because that's what the movie was. Oliver Robbins, who plays one of the children in the movie, said he nearly died after being choked by the arms of the evil puppet. He said he had to be saved by Steven Spielberg during the event to avoid further harm. Like damn B, honestly, as an aspiring actress, getting choked by a doll and then being saved by Steven Spielberg sounds like the dream. I'd be that kid. Either way, there weren't that many incidents on set, but there were many off set, which is why people think the franchise in general is just haunted or cursed. I mean, on set, Spielberg used real skeletons in the muddy pool scene instead of fake ones and didn't tell any of the actors till later, but that's not really that bad. Is that legal though? I don't really know. Now Heather O'Rourke, who played Carol Ann, died during the filming of Poltergeist 3. Dominique Dunn, who played Dana, was killed by her ex-boyfriend 4 months after Poltergeist was released. He strangled her in her driveway and she just never regained consciousness after going into a coma. Jo Beth Williams, who played Diane, said every time she got home, she'd find all her paintings hanging crookedly, and after straightening them would still find them crooked the next day. In Poltergeist 2, the actor who played Shaman died less than a year after the release as well, so there's just a lot of deaths surrounding this franchise, and it can't be a coincidence. I fail to believe it is. Now at number 6 is The Possession. Now this movie came out back in 2012, and to summarize the plot, a family basically ends up buying a Dybbuk box from a yard sale and taking it home. Great, you guys. And obviously you can imagine that did not end well. The daughter becomes severely attached to the box, and the dad becomes increasingly worried that this ancient evil spirit is trying to or has already attached itself to his daughter. Parts of the film were filmed at Riverview Hospital, which used to be a mental institution, so just, you know, bad juju everywhere. Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays the dad, and he said he went from being a complete skeptic to a full-on believer of the paranormal after the things he saw happen on set. He claimed lights would explode for no reason, and during scenes with ghosts, a cold breeze would always sweep through the set despite no door being open at all. To top off these happenings, the prop storage room actually burnt down with the movie's Dybbuk box inside, which I mean could be a good or bad thing depending on how you look at it. I'd say it's a good thing, just letting you know. Like, we know Dybbuk boxes are not gonna end well. How many videos have I done on Dybbuk boxes, you guys? No. We know that goes nowhere. We know you're about to die. That's not. Coming in at number 5 is The Nun. Gotta love Valak, this just keeps coming back to haunt me, doesn't she? She's like in every scary movie video that I do. Either way, the movie came out last year and is essentially about a demonic entity terrorizing St. Cartha's Monastery. Now, parts of the movie were shot at Corvin Castle in Romania, and during filming, the director Corin Hardy reported seeing many weird things that he just couldn't get over. He saw a handprint in the dust that no one claimed to have made that he was convinced was by a ghost. Thaisa Farmiga, the actress who played Sister Irene, reported having demon-fighting dreams most nights while filming the movie, which again just doesn't seem coincidental, you guys. But the worst incident was during filming, where Hardy stepped into a side room to let the cameras pass, and the side room was quite dark to say the least. When he turned around, he saw 2 men sitting at the back of the room and just assumed they were crew members, as anyone would. But after one take, Hardy turned around to talk to the guys, but they had just vanished. And keep in mind, there was only one entrance and exit to the room, and Hardy was blocking it. So where did they go? Where are they now? Are they still in the castle? Did they make it into the film and I didn't? Great, even ghosts are making it into the films and I'm not. Hahaha, love my life. At number 4 is The Conjuring, probably one of the scariest movies of the last decade. Released in 2013, the movie follows Ed and Lorraine Warren as they help the Prawn family who believe their house is haunted, and that's obviously based off the real Ed and Lorraine helping the real Prawn family. Now, during the movie, Joey King plays one of the girls that gets attacked by the witch, and she didn't perform any of her stunts in the movie, and she didn't even fall or get injured on set, but somehow her body became covered in bruises. Somehow, we're just not gonna find out how ever. Next, we move on to Vera Farmiga, who plays Lorraine. She claimed she read the script the night before Skyping the director, and when she woke up the next day, she noticed 3 digital claw marks on her computer that weren't there the night before. She even said while she was filming, she would constantly wake up between 3 to 4 AM, which is basically the witching hour, just to let you know. Now, when the real-life Prawn family visited the set of the haunted house, they brought with them all the they were trying to leave behind. Indoor winds on set, the trees outside the house were eerily still even when it was windy, and Carolyn, the mum of the family, didn't even want to visit the set. When she got home from the set, she collapsed onto the ground claiming she was pushed by something that had come home with her, which, I mean, alright Carolyn. Well, she had to be taken to the hospital after that, so this just really didn't end well for anyone involved. Filling our number 3 slot is The Ring 2. Now weirdly enough, I feel like The Ring is the first horror movie I remember even hearing about when I was young and even watching. Like, it was my first taste of the horror movie world, and I was not disappointed. Now the sequel came out in 2005 and basically started off 6 months after the events of the first film. Samara's video is going around Astoria and she's just killing a bunch of hoes. In essence, that's literally the whole movie, so no wonder it got negative reviews. There's no plot, we need more meat people. Now either way, Naomi Watts, who plays Rachel Keller in the film, reported feeling weird vibrations on set that had no source whatsoever. She said she and other crew members would hear whispers here and there despite no one actually talking. Radios and other equipment would just turn on by themselves, but the scariest thing that happened was a flood. At one point the whole set became completely flooded and no one could figure out why or how or where the water was coming from. And that made everyone on edge, rightfully so, because Samara drowned to death at the bottom of a well and now there's water flooding the set, so like, is Samara gonna pop up and kill them all? Like, what's going on? Now at number 2 is Rosemary's Baby. Now this supernatural horror was directed by Roman Polanski and was released in 1968. The plot basically revolves around Guy and Rosemary, who are trying to have a kid. And I don't want to give too much of the plot away, but basically Rosemary believes Guy made a deal with a religious cult and that the father of her child is actually Satan. Along with that, there's a lot of occultism involved, the devil, a satanic coven, and more. Do watch it now. Now firstly, the composer of the film, Christoph Komeda, died from a brain clot a year after the film was released, which coincidentally is exactly how Rosemary's friend Hutch dies in the movie. Spoiler alert. Next, one of the film's producers, William Castle, started receiving death threats a year after the movie came out and was suddenly taken to the hospital due to kidney failure 2 days later, literally despite no previous diagnosis whatsoever. And as he was being admitted, he yelled out, "Rosemary, for God's sake, drop the knife." He too later died. The apartment building the movie was shot in was the same one where John Lennon was assassinated and was known to be haunted anyway, but the worst thing about this movie actually happened to the director. Now Roman was married to a pregnant Sharon Tate at the time, and Sharon and 4 others were killed in a mass murder ritual by the Manson family, which was a cult if you didn't know. She was stabbed 16 times and they wrote "pig in blood" on the door of the house. I don't know whose blood that was, I'm hoping it wasn't hers. I mean, pregnant woman and cult killing, that seems pretty in line with the movie. Need I say more? And finally, at number 1 is The Omen, which I think is no surprise to anyone, to be honest. Released in 1976, the movie follows a couple and their child, except the child isn't really theirs. Their real son dies after being born, and another mother giving birth died at the same time, so the father basically just takes the baby home as his own and just doesn't tell his wife. But that baby happens to be the Antichrist. Great storyline, honestly, I'd watch it. But I feel like the movie was truly doomed from the beginning based on all the things that were just happening to people. Firstly, lead actor Gregory Peck's son committed suicide 2 months before filming started. Then, on his way to London, Peck's plane was hit by lightning, and a few weeks after that, executive producer Mace Newfield's plane was also struck by lightning on the way to LA. And then, as if 2 lightning occurrences aren't rare enough, the film's producer Harvey Bernhard barely escaped being struck by lightning while filming in Rome. After that point, Harvey refused to be on set without a cross, and honestly, I don't blame the guy. A plane that was chartered for the film got switched at the last minute, so none of the cast actually boarded it, and it ended up crashing after takeoff, killing everyone on board. Then we move on to the animal handler who was on set during the baboon scene. He got mauled to death and killed by a tiger not long after helping with that scene, so like that's not even it. There is more. SFX artist John Richardson was in a car accident on Friday the 13th where he survived but his passenger was decapitated, which may sound familiar because it happened in the movie. John helped with the decapitation scene and then faced a very similar fate, and just to add insult to injury, the accident happened near a sign that said OMEN 66.6 kilometers away, OMEN being a Dutch town close by. I'm just gonna stop right here. And that's it for today's video, guys. That was honestly a lot to handle even for me, and having dreams of being an actress, I honestly hope I never end up on a haunted set, but if I do, I guess I'll just have to bite the bullet, just do it. And I just hope a giant light fixture just doesn't fall on me and kill me. I need to have my, like my day in the limelight. As always, I've been your host, Eamon Hassan, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye! Oh my god. and I'm like, what is this? I'm like, why does your name have to be so bloody complicated? Kidney failure? I just wanna cry. Oh, I already said that. Is that shade coming? No! I'm at number 4. Getting choked by a doll and then being saved by Steven Spielberg. By a doll and being saved by Steven Spielberg. I can't do this today. This is not happening! Ugh! It's fine, get it together, Eamon.